we got the first episode of the podcast that we do not have a name for yet, so that's kind of fun. But that is all right. Obviously, some of you probably know the both of us. I'm Matthew. This is Justin. Kind of the idea behind this podcast. Let's talk about that a little bit. Justin, how did we come about the idea of the podcast? It's a quick story, but like we move fast.
I mean, it's pretty funny because like we wanted to do like something to share opinions and share experiences with others, but we don't know like what's a good way to do it. And Matthew wants to provide value as well. So, I mean, I just came out with the idea of doing a podcast because I want to do podcasts and I want to share my information. I want other people to share their stories. I want others to share their experiences as well. So that's how the idea came about, basically.
Yeah, it was the quickest conversation and the quickest idea that just sparked.
Yeah.
I think it started with, yo, what type of content do you like? And then Justin's like, I like interviews. And then we both were just like, oh, okay, let's run up a podcast. And
Yeah.
then the more that we talk, this conversation took place yesterday, by the way, for those of you watching. So this whole thing has been whipped together in about 24 hours, which is less than actually.
Less than, yeah.
Um, yeah, so here's kind of the rundown of what we're going to be doing. Kind of the mission behind the podcast is kind of we're wanting to give these like new and experienced digital entrepreneurs a space to talk and connect with those who are on the same journey. We want to make sure
100%.
that there's a space for people to grow who are very like-minded, and we want to just show that you can not only change your life, but a bunch of people along the way with people who are also leveling up their life as well. So we want to just give that space for people to come on, talk, tell their stories, get their mindsets. We're going to keep things pretty above the weeds. So if you're looking for sauce, if you're looking for nitty gritty techniques, this is not the place for that. But if you are looking to know what these people are like and kind of connect with them on a different level, that's kind of what this is for. So I thought in the first one, I would ask Justin some questions about his journey, kind of show you guys what the idea of this podcast is, and then we're gonna get some guests on. We got a couple lined up already, which is super cool. So hopefully over the next, I guess, 3 or 4 weeks, you guys will see multiple podcasts where we're just talking to people, getting to know people, things that they like, their mindsets behind entrepreneurship and how they got into their respective fields. So yeah. This is so weird as well, by the way, because those of you who know Justin know him on like a give value, help out, just giver, somebody who just helps as many people out. But I don't think a lot of you actually know Justin personally. Me and Justin have talked a lot and we've become quite close over the last, I want to say, month or two. So I've gotten to know your story fairly well, but it'll be cool to give other people that insight. So people who you're actually helping out know you on a more personal level as well. Why don't you start with your story? Let's go pre growth operating for you. What were you doing? What were you kind of like?
100%. So, I mean, growing up, I didn't really have a father figure. Like, I I had my mom, and I love her to death. She just takes care of me all my life, and I have my grandma as well. Like, she also takes care of me right till now, and I was always the kid that wasn't extroverted. I was always the introvert. I would sleep in class I will always be at the back of the class, just sleeping and like not doing anything. And like I didn't like studying. I didn't like do any homework basically. And like I'm just a kid that like gets bullied all the time. And people just bully me left, right, and center, and like I just didn't like my life. I was depressed and stuff like that. So um until I was 18 or 19, and back then I was doing like Chinese martial arts. But when I was 19, I finished school. I went to the national service and stuff like that, and that's when I also started playing pool. So that was the one thing that got me out of being an introvert and actually being an extroverted person. And all my life I realized that I love teaching. I love like helping others. I love caring about other people. And that's like one of the places that I could actually like become friends with people, and I
Yeah.
actually met genuine people. Yeah. So um fast forward to 2023.
Hold on, before we fast forward here, you mentioned pool. Obviously, you also worked in services and whatnot, but what kind of prompted pool for you? Because I feel like everybody, athletic or non-athletic, there's always some like solo sport that somebody
Yeah.
will do at some point. So what prompted pool?
I mean, my dad used to play pool, so like he would play like at pubs. He would play at pool halls, whatever you call it, billiard halls. And he sort of saw this Facebook post, I think, and he asked me to join this like um, membership where you pay like $120 for like a 3 month like coaching program in that specific billiard hall, and I joined it. And before that, I used to play pool with my ex girlfriend. So I that's where I started like, and friends as well. So that's where I started like liking the game in a sense, because like I would play for fun and I would pot the balls and I would like win most of the time, and that's where it sparked like my interest in playing pool. Then
Subtle flex,
I
but
would,
okay.
yeah.
Not
Yeah,
like you competed at a national level or anything.
but yeah, I competed at the national level actually. So then,
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I played it competitively. I spent the past five years just must trying to like get good at the game. Like I wanted to become a professional pool player and stuff like that. I traveled overseas, joined the national team, the national youth team um at the point of time. And yeah, like I didn't really see the value of it, because like as sports people, as athletes, like you need to train for like decades to like actually become good at something and like actually win a Olympics medal, or like actually make a lot of money with it, right? So I didn't really see the ROI. And after like, even after like I trained for like 5 years, like I went overseas and saw the players that are playing like overseas, and the level is totally different, so I couldn't compete. And I just like felt I couldn't like become like a professional pool player. and and at the point of time I was 23 when I realized that. I was actually like 22 or 23. And after that, like I didn't want to spend the next 5 years just mastering the game and like traveling overseas, because I can't travel, right? Because I had no money. So I would just like I can't become successful in the game, and I
Hmm.
can't make money until like 5 years, like until I get good and stuff like that. So I just didn't see the ROI. Then fast forward to 2023, that's when I was like scrolling through TikTok and stuff like that, being like the degenerate that I was. And like um I just scroll through TikTok, Instagram, watch YouTube all night, stayed late to like 4 a.m. to sleep, stuff like that, while working at the job, at the billiards hall. And I came across like one person's like TikTok, does copywriting and stuff like that, and it's making a lot of money, like doing like getting Lambos and stuff like that. So just joined the course that he was promoting, the free class. And I bought one course. I bought SMMA courses. I bought other copywriting courses and stuff like that. And that's where the strand of like having shiny object syndrome, or like getting distracted by all these like trends of business models, like got to me. And after that, like I saw Eddie Cumberbatch's TikTok, and I joined his course, and I saw like what they were doing and stuff like that with like content creation, and I realized that they really care about customers and they really cared about like the people that joined the course and stuff like that. So because I joined multiple group calls at that point of time, and like I asked myself, right, like I bought all these courses, I paid 5 figures for like all these courses.
Just for reference, everybody who's watching, Justin has spent multiple tens of thousands of dollars on courses by now.
Yes,
So
yes,
he's pretty well
yes,
versed when it comes to the online education space.
yes. So I wouldn't say I regret, but I wouldn't say I regret spending that money, but as in like I wouldn't do that if I knew that I had shiny object syndrome, or like what shiny object syndrome is, right? Or I didn't even know like sticking to one thing is super important. So I was at the on a trip, I was on an overseas trip, and I asked myself like, what is it that I really want in life? Like I can spend so much money on all these courses, and I will even borrow money from my parents to like buy all these courses, right? But I asked myself like, is this something that I really want to do, or am I spending money like recklessly on like multiple courses? So I just sat down with myself and I asked myself like, am I gonna really do business full time and all my life, or am I just like wasting my time? So I came back after the trip. I genuinely locked in, and before that, I didn't say this yet. I was procrastinating. I was like mental masturbating on like doing stuff like from copywriting to SMMA, or like even sticking to like the content stuff, like anything like that, or like and I just like didn't want to do it. Like I was lazy. I had like a really bad mindset. So I came back from the trip. I I saw Eddie and Brady's like gen I would say they are really genuine with what they are doing. So I stuck with them. I joined multiple group calls. I started doing all this stuff and I started taking action, right? So I took action. I saw some results, and I worked with my first client, which is a sort of like a copywriting client. Did like free work for like 6 weeks. Didn't get paid. Then after that, growth operating happened. So growth operating happened, and I started doing outreach and stuff like that. I started like getting um responses, book calls. I got I think 5 to 7 sales calls, and I closed on the last one. So before I even got a client,
Hmm.
and I found like online friends. I made like friends in the community, and I partnered up with Ruben. So that's my business partner back then. Shout out to Ruben. Um, and we ran up with a creator, made our first setup fee of 2K USD, and we ran up like 15K within 2 weeks. And after that, I ran another two. I ran offers with another two creators, and I ran up 100K. And that's fast forward to now, and now I'm helping a seven-figure business.
Knowing like the full story for you, when I first met you, I just thought you were some dude posted in a community, just some weirdo.
Yeah.
And then I remember we hopped on a call, like a one-on-one call, the first time that you and I ever like really talked.
Yep.
And the first thing that happened, most of you guys who know Justin know that he's very blunt. I didn't realize how blunt he was going to be. The first thing that he said was like, dude, you're being an absolute, well, I can't say that word, but you're being an idiot. And the dude just started breaking me down. And some of you guys know my background, some of you don't, but like coming from a place where feedback is the thing that I value most, it was instantly, I was like, okay, I'm gonna like this guy long term. So it's cool to kind of put a story to that. You said obviously that you tried a bunch of things like in terms of like education and that mindset around deciding to kind of pursue entrepreneurship. What made you decide to actually go with entrepreneurship? Because I know that you talked about that you made that decision, that that's what you wanted to do. but what was the driving factor behind that?
I basically didn't have a backup plan, right? I love I love pool so much at the point of time that I would spend like 12 hours like all day just like playing pool, and I will work that job at the same time. And I'll focus all my time on like practicing, like playing with friends and stuff like that, like playing gambling matches, right? And I was very obsessed about the game because I wanted to become good, right? So I went to school during that point of time when I was playing pool. I went to the national service for like 2 years. Then I worked the job. Then I realized that I needed to get a job, right, outside of that pool thing, right? So I went to study for like a year or maybe 6 months, and like I absolutely hated it. Like I thought like I would be able to study, I will be able to like get good grades and stuff like that because like I really like have to do this, but I realized like I wasn't cut out for it. Like I really like just hated it. So I got the certificate, but like at the same time I was still scrolling through TikTok and stuff like that, right? So um I absolutely hated it. I don't have like an actual degree or anything like that to like go out to the working world and actually get a job. So and my choices are super limited. So because I only had that one certificate like for a foundation diploma, I put myself in such a such a dumb situation because like I didn't go to university, I didn't go to college. So I can't get like certifications or like qualifications to actually get a very good job outside. And that was the path that I like everyone saw, right? So which is what the society actually like programs you to do. But I saw TikTok and like I saw like like 20-year olds, like even 18-year olds, 19-year olds like having like Lambos cars and stuff like that, and I was sold to by the marketing. So they were making content about that, and they were doing copywriting, SMMA, like sales, whatever it is, right? So I saw like that one guy, and I bought the course, and I bought multiple courses, and that's I put myself in like a all or nothing situation, and I just told myself like I have no plan B. I can
Yeah.
only do this. I can only do entrepreneurship my whole life, and I have to make this work. So sometimes people just they think like, oh, they can do side hustles, they can do like business on the side and stuff like that, but everyone has limited energy, and everyone has limited time, right? But if you're not making money, you have all the time in the world to make a fuck ton of money, right? And if you spend your energy on the right things and you actually put your all into something that would make you money and make you wealthy, not rich, make you wealthy in the long run, so that maybe in your early like late 20s or 30s or even 40s, right? You can be so wealthy to the point that you don't have to worry about your 50s or 60s or even 70s, right? And you can take care of the younger generation, like your or the older generation, like your parents, your grandparents, like and the younger generation, your kids, like your kids, right? And the economy is becoming worse and worse by the day. And I just saw that in Singapore actually. So I mean, inflation is going up, income tax is going up, and stuff like that. And if you really just, I just told myself, if I really like don't take care of my mom, especially if I don't take care of myself and the people around me, like I will be an absolute failure, and I
Yeah.
really can't do that. So That's my thought process.
Dude, I love that. I love that, especially just coming from where you did and not growing up with kind of that father figure around you to hold those values. I find people who kind of lacked that, I wouldn't call it an emotional support, but a actual figure that they can follow. I
Yeah.
find just have a lot tighter values in terms of taking care of the people that are around them. So
I
that's
mean,
really cool.
I didn't have someone that to tell me like, oh, like how to become a man, like how to
Yeah.
actually make money. Like no one told me like stuff like that. Like everybody would like make me feel comfortable. And like as right now I understand that comfort kills you, right? Discomfort helps you grow. And like back then I didn't even know. Like I didn't have like someone to tell me like, or like how to manage your money, or like how to make money, how why you should study hard or something like that, like
Hmm.
whatever it is. It's just like I had to discover everything from friends, like becoming like the person that I actually want to become. And as a man, like friends would tell me like how to act, right? How to
Yeah.
become more socially aware, like how to become more extroverted, how to work on social skills, like stuff like that. And like I just didn't have that um person to tell me that. So I had to
That's fair.
figure everything out on my own. Yeah.
I mean, hey, it's brought you far. Obviously, you were pretty consistently racking 50K months if I'm not mistaken there. But
Yeah.
obviously we talked a little bit about the past. What I'm interested in is kind of the future. Like, what's your long-term play? Obviously, right now you're a coach for a seven-figure business. You're obviously you a little bit of consulting with it there as well. So kind of talk to me about what that game plan looks like for you in terms of kind of what your next steps are and like that empire you're trying to build.
I genuinely love helping people. Like seeing people succeed like yourself. Like even if you
Sorry
haven't.
to cut you off, but like for those of you who don't know, Justin was a coach inside of the business that he's currently in. That's how him and I met, and now he does a little bit of consulting for me as well. So Justin is one of my mentors, if that makes sense. Well, obviously him and I are pretty tight, but he's been one of the most impactful people for me. So in terms of coaching, it's very clear that you just love helping people, especially when I see people. Obviously, we were just on a call with another one of them. Just seeing you helping out, it's very very clear that you love that.
Yeah, I appreciate that though. But yeah, I just love helping seeing people succeed because like when I first joined the business that I'm actually in right now, the seven figure business, like the community, like nobody actually reached out to me. I'm the only Asian dude in that American business or like American like community where like Europeans, like British people and Americans are all in that one community. And like I'm all the way from Singapore, right? So I realized how big a community is, and you can't you can only get so far alone, but you can't get to where you want to be, or like you can't get even further without like people in a sense.
Yeah, like with
Yeah,
the right network.
yeah. You need the
It's
right people surrounding you. Yeah. So I just went on the platform. I just DM'd like every single person, and I would like share like experiences. Like I would just post stuff inside the community and stuff like that, and I would actually network with people, and that's how I found like my closest friends, and that's how I found like people I can actually trust, like Matthew, like and people that are actually genuine and like willing to share like their journeys, like their experiences and what they learned with me, right? And I want to do the same as well. So as I gotten better at business, like I wanted to do something like for the other people as well, for like the new entrepreneurs that are coming in, and I want to share like my stuff. I want to help them as much as possible so that they can see success as fast as I did, right? So life is life is not supposed to be like selfish, right? But at the start, you have to be selfish. You have to be so selfish to the point that you cut out friends, you cut out bad habits, you cut out um, going out, clubbing, whatever it is, right? So that you can work on something bigger for yourself, right? But after you see success and after you gained wealth, you got money, whatever it is, like you bought houses, you bought cars and stuff like that, you have to be selfless. Like you have to actually give back to the people that um cared about you from the start. So that's what I'm doing right now. But I also want to focus on myself. But not only that, I feel that I can be a bigger person to help others on the same journey as me.
Yeah, I resonate with that a lot, and I know that a lot of people can as well. Just in terms of getting the right network, I feel like, especially for people who are like, digital entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
it's a lot harder to find that community and like that brotherhood where you actually have people that are making you better, because it's the same thing that everyone's told. Like your first couple of months in business, maybe even a couple of years for people. I obviously was fortunate enough to meet you and like all the other guys inside quite quickly, and I'm very
Mhm.
privileged for that. But it's very lonely, and
Yeah.
that it holds you back because now it's your limiting beliefs that are holding you back, especially when the inputs that you or sorry, the outputs that you're actually having on your work is what you believe to be maximized. You need those other people that can, one, shift your paradigm, two, push you to be better, three, call you out when you're doing dumb shit, right?
Yeah.
So it's
100%.
it's crazy. Like for I can only speak on personal experience, but I've also seen it firsthand. We
Yeah.
had what last weekend there was a couple of our buddies all just met up in Austin,
Yeah.
and they just all
That's
linked
crazy.
up, and everybody of different skill levels, just because that that brotherhood was like formed with them.
Right.
And the amount we don't even have to be there to understand the amount that they took away.
Yeah.
There
100%.
was it just in terms of the network of people, the dude who's number one in the school games for this month, a
Yeah.
dude who's been top 20 in the school games for the last 3 or 4 months, a
Mm.
dude that what ran up 28K just chilling in his chilling in his room with
Yeah.
an air mattress, and then these
100%.
young guns as well. Like, what was there? I believe the youngest there was 16 years old. Is that how old he
Is it
is, or
16?
17 years old? I don't
18.
know how old he is.
Yeah, no, oh, 16, yes.
Yeah,
16.
we'll
Yeah.
have to get him on the pod as well because that'll be a
Yeah, of
fun one.
course, yeah. Yeah,
But
100%.
the amount that all of them took away from highest level to lowest level, it's going to be unmatched. They spent like 2 days together, and that doesn't come from sitting in your room. That doesn't come from going through the lonely chapter. Like
Yeah.
the yeah, all the vanity metrics that are shown online, like the cars, the yachts, all that stuff, that doesn't bring you a network, right?
It
So.
just goes to show, like it goes to show that business shouldn't be lonely, right?
Mhm.
That's another thing is that the person the person that's on the top of the school games, like doesn't have an ego, right? He doesn't have an ego and say like, hey, like I don't want to
Yeah.
meet up with this 16-year-old, right? Like there are people like making 50K months and it's like, why should I meet up with this 16-year-old, right? But people just don't understand that, and like you can learn stuff from anyone. You can learn stuff from people that actually don't know about business, right? Like you can learn.
Mhm.
There are some things that you can learn from your parents, even. Like even though they tell you to go to school or whatever it is, like they care about you, right? Like if people actually like just give you advice and you can choose to take it in or not. It's like you have a choice
Yeah.
on everything, right?
Yeah, it's the philosophy that you can learn something from everyone. And that's, I don't
Exactly.
even think
Yeah.
that's a philosophy. I think that's just a fact, right?
Yeah, it's just a
There's
fact. Yeah.
anybody that cares enough to give you the time of day, you can learn something from. Even the
Yeah,
people that
100%.
don't give you the time of day. Social media is amazing this way. It's actually the foundation of how you and I make money.
Yeah. Yeah.
is other
Yeah.
people influencing people indirectly, right?
100%.
So yeah, obviously, I like the fact that you mentioned finding that network because I feel like a lot of people who start entrepreneurship, myself included, started by saying, "Oh, like I'm gonna be disciplined, like work hard, and like get angry about work and stuff like that." It's like, isn't the goal to disconnect anger and work and just to enjoy the work that you're doing and enjoy all of that? And if that's the goal, if the goal is to feel all of the emotions, the highs and lows that come with business, wouldn't you want a network around you? Wouldn't you not
Yeah.
want to do it alone? So I that was a very big paradigm shift for me because I mean when I started, I did the textbook thing. Shut
Yeah.
off everyone, open my laptop, Atomic Habits is being read, Think and Grow Rich is being read. And then
Yeah. Yeah. That's what
I
most people
it's funny
do.
because for I'm sure that a lot of people can relate to it. But as soon as you get out of that mindset, you start winning. But in order to get to that mindset where you start winning, you have to go through that mindset first. So
Yeah.
it's like you go through a negative mindset, which leads to a positive result. At least that's what it's been like for me.
In order for you to make your first 10K or even your first 100K or even your first $1 million, you have to first become the person to actually make that money,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. It's not
It's
just
funny
about
that
like
you go on.
yeah. Yeah, it's not just about like making money, locking in, right? Doing opening your laptop, reading the books or whatever it is, right? You actually have to break beliefs that limits you. You have to break doubts or like break barriers, right?
Yeah.
And to actually change your identity and change the person to actually make that money. Because it wasn't easy for me to break that. And like back then, I wouldn't if I was like that person back then to make like this type of money, like I needed to break that identity, and like I'm glad I
Hmm.
did. And this is what most people don't realize. Jordan Brown actually mentioned this recently, and I really resonate with it because like he didn't get to where he is, um, right now, making like 300, 400K per month without like breaking his beliefs, like without changing his identity to become the person worthy of making that money, right? So yeah, that's what I want to put out there too.
Yeah, obviously, we'll wrap up here. We've been going for a little bit, but I like that you say that because I think I sent this to you or you sent it to me a little while ago. I want to say like a week or two ago, where
Yeah,
it it's funny because most of my business knowledge, being so new to digital entrepreneurship specifically, Alex Hormozy is the guy that everyone goes to,
yeah,
right,
yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
entrepreneurship. And the motivating quotes from him get me. Like the
Yes,
it's so easy one obviously gets me, but in terms of like becoming the person that's actually worthy of accomplishing whatever the results are, whether it's making money, whether it's being able to travel or whatever it is, just think about who your most difficult enemy is and then just be that person. So, for example, if the goal is making money, because most people watching this, the goal for them will be making money.
yeah,
If you think about what the character traits are of somebody making 10, 100, a million a year, if they're going to be really strong, they're going to be really disciplined, they're going to be extremely productive with their time, they're going to be great decision makers, they're going to be physically fit, they're going to be eating healthy. Okay, now you've identified six character traits that you can just adopt like that.
right.
Like you don't need to do take all of these steps to adopt those character traits. You just pick them up And it really is that simple. And I think a lot of people overcomplicate the process like I did myself, right?
Yeah.
So it's cool. But I guess last couple of words here from you. Obviously, being somebody that has gone through this cycle of trying the entrepreneurship route, succeeding in the entrepreneurship route, and now coaching young entrepreneurs. For somebody that's in that mindset, let's call it, they're maybe making a couple of grand a month, or maybe they're not making anything. Like, what's the biggest thing that you can give them in terms of just a small, easy, like 1 or 2 sentence takeaway?
It's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be easy. You're gonna have sleepless nights. You're not gonna complete everything on your to-do list. You're gonna grind all day, and you won't know if you're gonna make it or not. But it's okay, and that's what hard feels like. So if you want to break those barriers, like, and I got that sort of like sentence from Alex Hormozi as well. So that's what hard feels like. And it just really resonated with me because everyone has barriers, everyone has stories in their life, everyone has a different life path, right? But if you want to pursue entrepreneurship, you have to realize that everything is going to be difficult, and you have to be the person worthy of facing those obstacles and actually getting the outcome that you want. Because the money, the houses, the cars, like the expensive watches, whatever it is, everything is the reward of how much you actually put in, of how much work, how much effort you actually put in. And that's all the bonuses that you will get from the tough times, the obstacles, the barriers that you go through. So everything works on the mind. And if you work on your mind the most, it connects with the body, right? So if you work on these 2 things, you'll be unstoppable.
I love that. It's the just classic. It's not, or it's simple, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
And it's just being able to delay that gratification. It's funny that you say that. It's like everybody wants that life, the entrepreneurship life. And then those people get into it, and then they realize they don't want that life, because the way that you start, it doesn't change. It doesn't get easier.
Yeah.
Nothing ever gets
100%.
easier. You face different challenges, and the challenges are greater, right?
Yeah.
So
everyone is jealous of what you got. No one is jealous of how you got it. People see the trophies, but not the training ground.
that applies to so many things. So that's fantastic. Well, Justin, obviously appreciate that. Obviously, kind of diving into more who you are. I know that a bunch of people in our community will definitely like knowing the background of you a little bit. I know for me, just chatting with you is always a good time. So obviously, those of you who are in communities with Justin, hit him up. Trust me, you won't regret hitting him up. Just, is there anywhere that you would want people to hit you up if they want to reach out to you on a platform outside of the community?
Just LowYS, JUST LOWYS on all platforms. So
Sweet.
TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter.
Awesome, man. Sweet. All right, well, we'll wrap this up. Obviously, we will be posting quite a bit for the next couple of weeks until we can kind of solidify the schedule. Obviously, we do not have a name for this yet. So if you are one of the people seeing this, whether it's inside of the community or on another platform, drop us name suggestions, because we got no idea. When we started this 24 hours ago, a name for the podcast was not the priority. And then obviously those of you who have more ideas, shoot us a message. If you're interested in kind of chatting with us, shoot us a message as well. Most of you, same thing, you'll probably know where to find me. So all right.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, of course. So we'll cut it off here, and we'll see you guys in the next one.